Okay, here we go. This should be the last time we see this, I guess not really map, but this stage of the campaign. Ooh, that's well, that's is that supposed to be like that? I feel like it must be. But yes, this should be it, unless something goes catastrophically wrong, or I screw things up and have to load a save. This should be it. Before we start, though, a couple of things. First, where's one? The minor warlords. I think what I'm hearing is that these don't necessarily actually apply to these. I think this only applies to the other type. This one, the actual active one. But I'm not gonna remove them or change it, partially because I can't be bothered, and partially because it might have some effect on the starting forces. Either way, it's not gonna hurt anything. So we're just gonna leave those like that, but I expect these things aren't actually gonna do all that much. Maybe it'll affect the starting forces, but I don't think it's gonna spawn heroes. Additionally, someone did express some desire to see potentially these guys if we are to do one of the actual active ones, active minor warlords, and I'm not opposed to the idea. And as a matter of fact, I think Relafon would be a great spot for that, because he was saying he wanted to see the possibility of us capturing Venators, because that faction has the special unit of Venators, which, yeah, Venators would be cool. My immediate concern with that is, well, if I do that, then, I mean, it'll be a minor faction, and most of the planets where we're putting minor factions are way the heck out here, and there's no way we're gonna actually see any of that. You know? Like, the closest would be the Maw, and the Maw wasn't letting me send those tokens over there. These ones, it wouldn't let me have that. So that's not gonna work, and even then, that's still a long way from us as well. On the other hand, Relafon. I have this as the mid-game crisis faction, but, like, if we're going with the idea that they went in more or less one line, like this deviation here, where it kind of splits and comes back together, that's fine. This one here, where it kind of goes this way and then takes a different route, that's also makes a bit of sense. This one way out here, this is rather too far, I feel. So I do think it would make more sense if that was an independent faction. And hey, if somebody wants to see... I don't actually need this whole stack. Oh, I do need one of these. But yeah, if you want to see one of these, and maybe potentially see some Venators, this would be the way to do it. And also, this planet isn't so significant that it's gonna throw things off. Like, I briefly considered putting the active minor faction on these three, but that's way too many planets. That'd be way too likely for them to actually become a proper active faction in the campaign. And also, these two in particular are just way too good. I don't want to give them that much strength. Relafon, though? Yeah, we can give him Relafon. That's fine. I do think that I am gonna go ahead And give these planets to... Nope. To the independent warlords. It's... From what I could see when I attacked them and tested it, they're not that dissimilar to the independent forces. It's just more definitely Imperial, and at this stage in the campaign, I'm not sure. I don't know that it makes a lot of sense that any of these planets are independent. Like, okay, maybe you could argue that some planets way out in the boonies could potentially, arguably, be kind of independent because they've not really been part of the fighting for this whole time, really. But these three have gone back and forth so many times, there's no way they're independent at this stage. Minor warlords? Yeah, that could make sense. I don't know if I'll give them a capital building, though. Thinking about it. I know they're not an active faction, so they're not going to use these forces to go anywhere, but that's also... That might be a bit much. I am going to go ahead and leave Lumia there, just on the off chance that it does spawn her. It'll mean that, like, I guess narratively, she kind of split off her own small group that's no longer aligned. Or something. Is that supposed to be a whole full stack like that? I don't know if I should leave it like that. Should I leave it like that? Does it matter? I don't know if it matters, but I'm gonna change it anyway. Just in case. I don't... That planet especially is so far away that if it screws something up, I won't necessarily even notice until long time down the road, and I'd rather not. Rather not mess with something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna do anything, but I'm gonna leave it there. The Capitol building, I don't know, I guess I'll leave it at Bilbringi. That'll mean that it'll take them a longer time to actually retake it. Whoever ends up going for it. It might not matter too much. It might matter a whole lot. I'm not entirely sure. I guess I'll just leave it. Whether it matters or not, it'll only matter for this area. So I guess I'll just leave it and let it go, and it should be potentially fine. But next thing is going to be what we're going to do for the mid-game crisis faction. On reflection, and on further comments and discussions, as much as I would like to do the Chiss, it doesn't really make sense down here, because again, they would surely go and try to rescue them, and I don't know that I'm comfortable ceding these planets to them. Like, in order for us to do the Chiss Ascendancy instead of the Siruvi, right? Narratively, it would make much more sense if I started them, I don't know, on one of these planets back here, and then had them beeline it towards here, and then continue, which is not what has happened. The big reason, I will say it again, two big reasons why I'm doing these planets specifically. I am putting the mid-game crisis faction on these planets, this line, very specifically, is for two reasons. First, and most important reason, is in this stage in the campaign, these planets do not convincingly belong to either us or them. For example, Abogado. We had just retaken it and rebuilt 1 ion cannon, and that was it so far. If I put this here and give it to us, we are not going to start with 1 ion cannon. We're going to start with half the ground structures and full space defenses. That's not fair. We didn't earn that. I don't want to do that. So the question becomes, who does it belong to? I could just leave it independent, but at the same time, all factions are kind of being set back to not quite square one, because we are all starting with some starting forces, but all of the massive fleets that everybody are no more. So it makes sense narratively that something happened, and that something being an outside faction that has destroyed our fleets, their fleets, everyone else's in some way. Like, realistically, the ones that really matter here are Maldruud, the Imperial Remnant, and us. Everyone else is like, they're kinda in various stages of being destroyed anyway. But these three are really the ones that were the dominant factions, and us having all of that firepower and ship strength wiped out needs to have some kind of explanation, and that's why we're doing this. If I were to do the Chiss, it would only really make sense if it came from somewhere else. Has to have connected with that, because that's the only reason I can see that they would want to actually do this in the first place. And that's not compatible with the story of what we're doing here and why things have ended up the way they are in this rebuilt campaign. So, with that in mind, we're gonna have to just go ahead and use the Seruvi and kind of just I guess write the story as, well, somehow, somewhere, they got a hold of a stupid, crazy amount of ships, like Starforge cranking them out numbers of ships. Obviously, it can't be an actual Starforge, because then they wouldn't stop. That's kind of the Starforge's whole deal. It starts cranking them things out at a crazy rate, and it just keeps going. So obviously it wasn't actually something like a Starforge, but something of a similar degree of, like, they just had so many ships and they were able to do this. And then finally, at this end, they lost momentum and stopped. That's we're just gonna have to accept that that's what happened. So yeah, with that said, it's gonna have to be the Seruvi, and I am going to send one of these to each and every single one of their planets, because the second reason why I want to do this, and I think it's a good idea, is that if you look, because all of the planets that are, under contention, and I don't want to just give to a faction, they're all between them and us, other than the handful of planets that we've already given to minor warlords. All these planets are forming a pretty convincing line between us and the Maldruud and Imperial Remnant, which means, theoretically, hopefully, that everyone is kind of going to be able to build up before we actually start going at it again, right? So, yeah. The more we have that's actually in the way, the longer this wall of Seruvi will last. Again, theoretically. I am still going to turn on Cruel AI. I did say I was probably going to wait until they actually attack us, but I'm not entirely sure if I'm gonna wait that long. I guess it'll kind of depend. If I get into it and, you know, start fast forwarding and just nothing is happening for a long time, I will probably just turn on Cruel AI and that'll just be that. If, on the other hand, they, like, crash through the Sea Ruby at one point and start attacking us immediately, well, then that's when I'll turn it on. The main thing for me with turning on the Cruel AI is that I want to, at the very least, have enough time to put together something resembling our original fleets with our heroes. Like, obviously, I'm not going to be able to get it 100%, but I'd at least like to have, you know, probably I'll save Wedge's fleet for last, but, you know, I want a fleet of frigates and destroyers, get Akbar's fleet, you know, kind of back to where it was, certainly get a proper fleet of endurances back, you know, so that we can actually, like, start doing stuff. And my concern is turning on Cruel AI may not give us that amount of time. I'm not entirely sure. The thing is, well, the thing might be, we're not entirely sure what's going to happen with all of the other factions, what they're going to decide to do. In the current campaign, as it has been, they've been, especially the Imperial Remnant, but also Maldruud, they've been doing a lot of pushing into us. The Maldruud has been more recently doing a lot, and they've lost a lot of ships down around here, but since we're kind of restarting, they might decide that they want to, I don't know, focus more up here, focus more over here, do something different. If they kind of ignore us for a while, then at that point, probably should just turn it back on immediately, so that they build back up and are starting to threaten us again, because obviously it's not really going to be super fun if we're just sat here behind this wall of Sea Ruby not doing anything while they just kind of pound each other to pieces. At that point, like, turning on Cruel AI should help expedite them actually wanting to attack us. But on the other hand, they might just come crashing through Abrogado or something, and then we'll be straight into it. So that's kind of, we don't know until we actually get into it, sort of thing. So let's get into it, except for one additional thing. Total Nerd asked if we could maybe have Luke. Now, two things to consider. First, he is a hero we have had and lost fair and square. I'm not at all comfortable with just giving us access to heroes that we have already lost. Heroes that we haven't lost, we should actually be able to recruit when we get in, and I'm fine with recruiting heroes that we haven't lost. But a lot of these guys we have actually, like, gotten killed, and I'm not going to use them again. Yeah, that is Beliblis. Pretty sure we lost him. We did lose... Yeah. Him... I'm not going to go through and do that, but you get the idea, right? We have lost heroes, and I'm not going to use heroes that we've lost. On the other hand, this is, it's worth mentioning, Luke Skywalker. Now, another thing to consider in all of this is that we have technically also lost Leia, but she is also available as Chief of State. So, the general way to sort of explain that is that her ship went down, potentially she was injured, and she is not going to be in frontline combat anymore because of injuries, loss of ship, loss of confidence in wanting to be, out in an actual battle, which I feel like is perfectly understandable. So, we technically still have her, we just can't use her, right? So, if we were to apply the same logic to Luke, you could argue that he's still been around, he's just not been actively in combat. You could also argue that he's been off doing secret stealth missions or something. Now, at the same time, you could use the same sort of logic for other heroes, and we haven't actually... Did we lose him? We didn't lose him. Did we lose him? Wait a minute. Oh. Okay, I'm getting confused. Yes, we haven't lost him, but not this him. We haven't... Okay, ignore all that. Anyway, point is, you could say, well, yeah, his ship went down, but he was injured, was in Bacta for a while, and then he rejoined. I'm not going to do that for two reasons. One, just again, the story reasons of we did lose him fair and square. Second, I'm definitely not doing like any hero that we've lost here, because that's, I mean, dude's got a Lucre Hulk. I'm not giving us free Lucre Hulk for no reason. That's completely unearned, and it directly not earned. Like, we have done the opposite of earned it and lost it fair and square. Where I'm going with this is that this is Luke Skywalker, which, he is the heart of Star Wars. Let's be real here. And in the lore, he is the greatest Force sensitive ever. So you could argue that that is a reason for us to not have permanently lost him. It has been quite a while. But again, like with any other hero, I don't want to just give us a free resource. A free... I mean, he's still Luke. He has a very high command tier. He's a very good unit to have mechanically in the game. So, the solution that I've come to is that we're going to have him. However, I'm not going to use him. He will just sit here at the capital until we have done the work to earn the ability to recruit Jedi. And then I will send him here, and he will be in charge of our Jedi. Then I will actually use him as a unit, right? Because if I could, I would just say, leave him out, and then we will recruit him at Yavin once we get there. I'm pretty sure that's not an option. I don't think you can just do that. I'm not 100% sure though. So I think in order to make this work, it would be best to just say, okay, he's here. He is working in the background, so to speak, to do who knows what in support of us. But we're not going to actively use him mechanically in the campaign until we get actual access to Jedi that we can then, you know, we can say, sure, he was lost, but we've done a lot of work to earn using him back. Does that make sense? Feel like that makes a degree of sense. I'm not doing that for any other hero because, again, this is Luke Skywalker, not just any old hero. So, with that out of the way and decided, is there anything else that I need to do? And I'm pretty sure the answer is probably yes. I'm going to go through. I don't think we need to do anything more with the heroes. Gonna need to make sure that every one of these planets has the token on it. Part of me really wants to give us access to the old units, but nah, nah. Let's just go with what we've gotten. Technically, what we have is upgrades to the old stuff, generally speaking. We'll just keep it like that. These things all need to go into a group and need to be here. Is there anything else I'm missing? I'm gonna grab a save before we actually hit the button, because if something goes horribly wrong, I need to be able to go back and fix it, and I don't want to redo everything. Obviously, there was the save right at the beginning of this episode, but like, still. Oh, I was gonna consider giving them. Should they have another? I don't. The fact that they're an active faction makes me kind of think no, because again, I don't want them to go crazy. On the other hand, it would kind of make sense narratively because they have activated their extra ships, you know, so they should have well, there is the fact that I just kind of, well, I can oh, Sullust needs a doodah. Alright, I'll give the Hutts another thingy. They still only have 2 planets, so it shouldn't make too much of a difference. And also, if they do start going too crazy and properly making a nuisance of themselves, they're right next door to us, so we can actively do something about that. Like if it seems like, oh, they're gonna start becoming a super major player and altering the balance of the campaign, well, we can do something about that. If it was something like these guys, and these guys had a bunch or a handful of planets, you know, like these, I'm not putting capitals on all of them because that could potentially cause issues. Same with the Hapes. Not gonna artificially give them more than they should have. But the Hutts, again, it makes sense with the narrative, and we can just smush them if we really need to. I doubt they should become a problem, but it's an option. It's also worth mentioning, I'd kind of like to both fight them and maybe even like board a few of their ships and just have them. It'd be kind of cool. Same with Corellia, although I don't know if that they have much unique units on their own. When we tested it last episode, they did have a torpedo sphere, which I'm pretty sure is not boardable. But, like, I don't know, maybe if they have something interesting, we could give it a go. That does remind me, I do want to build a boarding shuttle relatively soon. Because between me forgetting about the thing and then also just kind of a lot of the time not having great opportunities to use it, I think we've only actually properly used the thing, what, twice in the whole campaign? So, like, yeah, I'd like to actually use the thing. It's a major like feature of the New Republic as a faction. We're one of the only ones that can do it, so like maybe make use of it. Could potentially take some Ruby ships, but I don't know, maybe not. Oh, one other thing. Total did also ask for us to keep Bakura. I'm saying no because we lost it, and when we retook it, we hadn't built anything on it, and I don't want to give it to us for free. I also don't think it would make sense that there's one lone planet that they couldn't take with, like, having made it this far. That's not... I don't think that makes sense. However, I will say, one of the very first things that I'm going to do, assuming these guys don't become a problem, is I am going to still send Akbar straight down this way again. We'll go through Abraddon and up to Endor. I will probably hold off on actually hitting Bakura until these guys have actually themselves started to push through and attacked us. Just because I don't want to break through the wall prematurely, as it were. Because, you know, this is between us and them, and if we took this, then that would no longer be between us and them. We would just be there. I'd rather not do that prematurely, but Bakura is absolutely way up there on my list of planets that I want as soon as possible. Because we did have Bakura ships and I really liked them, and now we're not going to have any more until we retake Bakura. So, yeah, for sure, that I'm going for quick. But, think we're there. Think that's everything. I'm half tempted to give us a capital over here. Just for some additional ships. But this is also Mon Calamari, and they build Mon Cal ships real cheap and fast, so... No, I'm not going to do that. Think that's everything. I don't think I need to do anything with these tokens. Pretty sure that's just to let you know what you've selected. Go ahead and take a look. Any planets that I missed? No. Doesn't look like it. Other than Biss, but that's... I mean... Again, it's still locked in our campaign anyway, so... Whatever. There's also a potential that the Maw might actually be locked. It might have just not been showing correctly on the map I made. I'm not entirely sure. But... meh, whatever. Giving it to them, I don't... It's whatever. That's fine. I think, though, that's everything. So, anything I've forgotten over here? Doesn't look like it. Nope. Actually, just had a thought. Oh, and a realization. I guess I hadn't... I did that and then didn't save before... Yeah, I'm pretty sure we need both of those. The Nogri, I'm pretty sure can only be built on Honoghr. I'm fairly sure we should have previously had access to them if we had Honoghr. And then the Jedi... Same deal, but with Yavin. I think they can only be built on Yavin. We should do that. Anything else? This is an upgrade. It's surely something that we have to research, so I'm not gonna... We do have the AACs, right? Yeah, the AAC-2. I don't know when the research for this is, because I'm pretty sure this was not in the version of the mod that we had been using. So I'm going to just leave it here and see if we get the research at some point. I don't think any of the rest of this is relevant because this is the previous version of infantry. This, I'm not entirely sure. We might get research for this. It's meh. It's fine. Yeah, that looks... This might be new. It might also be a research. I'm also not all that bothered if we don't get access to them. So, yeah, all of these planets have one of our tokens. Yes. Need to move that back. Make sure anything... Make sure that nothing breaks. I did get the right Akbar, right? MC-90, Galactic Voyager. And he's in Lusankia. Okay. That all looks correct to me, so... grab a save. Now let's do this. Here we go.
Invasion commencing.
Oh. Both of those fighter heroes got assigned to Wedge. Akbar Home 1. Why does this come up again? Is that potentially an issue? I don't know. Well, anyway, let's take a look at what we've got. That all looks correct. Yep. I mean, yep. I do have to say, I would like some kind of option to leave a planet empty. Just for future builds of the mod. I don't know if that's possible. If it's not, then, well, I guess it's not. But if it is possible, I would like that as an option. Having independent forces on these is fine, but it would also be nice to be able to do a blank planet. I don't know. I don't remember if I mentioned that previously, but yeah. Oh. Independent forces don't necessarily get the whole station. Oh. That's potentially a really substantial difference, actually. Well, I'm not going to consider that enough of a big deal to change it. This all looks correct. That looks correct. Oh. They are a new color. That's going to take some serious getting used to. I'm used to seeing the white as Ariadu. So that's going to be... I mean, it's probably not going to be super confusing in this campaign, because that's almost certainly going to go away pretty quick, and we won't have to deal with it, but in future, that's going to be confusing. This looks like this is a different color as well. Zinj. It's not a super different color, but it is different. Mandalore, okay. Okay, yep, that looks correct. Yep. Oh, where's Relafon? Restored Empire. Oh, it does actually even say it. Cool. Alright. That looks good to me. So, what is going to be the easiest way to do this? We don't have any immediate threats, so I can actually just, like, gather up all our forces. I'm considering doing it down over here, just in case. Gather everyone over onto that planet, in case they get any funny ideas. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Moving. We're on the move.
Right, can't use Nyfera yet.
Affirmative.
Oh, I probably should. Probably should go ahead and take a look at this. He's a Wookiee. Interesting. You're new as well. Oh no, you're not. It's just your icon is new. Viki. No, actually, we couldn't do Viki Shesh because she was only on Kuat. So they have changed that. That's... I think I appreciate that, yeah. Locking an entire research behind just one planet is a little... I don't know. It's a little annoying sometimes. I can understand it with the Jedi, but... for that in particular... Of course, I'm potentially just like incorrect, and sure you can have her, but you do actually have to do the research on Kuat. I don't know. Okay, Wedge. That's I guess you. That shouldn't be there, but we'll just ignore it. Okay. Nobody there. Pretty sure I've lost most of these guys except you. Yes, Namo we didn't actually end up using. Did we use Drayson? I can't remember. Precursor, Star Destroyer. We definitely used Dorat. Definitely Burke. Nance, yes. Masa, yes. Talon, yeah. So it's just these two. This one I'm certain about. I'm not certain about Drayson. I don't remember. I don't remember having a precursor. But he might have been one of the ones that I built and then immediately lost. I don't remember. Somebody remind me. If anybody else remembers at this point. And then these are... Wait, what was this selection? Generals. Oh, ground generals. Yes, this will be appreciated because we've been doing basically all of our ground battles without anybody. That'll be nice. And then Jedi... What does that say? Oh. As expected, nobody. Okay. Let's continue. I have to say, as much as I do appreciate getting...
Log updated.
Oh, hello. Is this a, Oh. It is limited. Probably not going to be able to do that. One Imperial Star Destroyer. That would be nice, but also... I don't think we're going to be able to do that. What was I saying? Oh, yes. As much as I do appreciate having access to all of these forces, this particular stage is a little annoying. Oh wow, that was alarmingly fast. 2 of them in quick succession. Did I give them too many not ground forces. Did I give them too many forces? I don't think I can have. You should stay here. You can just get out of the way. The rest... Oh, no. You. Oh, okay. Rest of these guys can go ahead. No. See, that right there? That's why I was... That right there. Yeah, that.